and welcome to this special show. I'm Mamta Chopra. 3rd December is celebrated across the world as International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And amongst the various organizations and individuals who are working towards the goal of achieving the inclusive world is VoSAP, that is Voice of Specially Abled People. It is an NGO which is in consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. And VoSAP has taken a unique digital initiative of Art from Heart, that is empowering specially able people through the power of art. To understand more about it, let's take a look at this video. So Art from Heart is a contest which is unique in a way that it connects not only the specially able artists, but also the able artists with the concept of disability. And the theme is Everyone is a Winner. To talk more about it, we have with us Mr. Pranav Desai, who is the founder of VoSAP, that is Voice of Specially Abled People. Mr. Desai, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My first question to you is, what is it that led to this concept of organizing a contest like Art from Heart with focus on disability?
Well, as you know, we are primarily focusing on advocacy for rights of people with disability. And that is our NGO's, my foundation's goal. So when you have to do advocacy, you do advocacy with the policymakers, leaders, corporate leaders, youth. We have technology tools like VoSAP mobile app, but the most important thing is to touch people's heart. I live here in America for last 20 years. Everywhere you see the ramp and accessibility provisions, but the space in the heart of people is yet building. So what we thought is what we can do to touch people's heart. How can we engage in the COVID-19 pandemic people to think differently and little bit get some inspiration when they think about people with disability, and during the painting, they will think about A, they will count their blessings, and B, they will think about how they live in this world. And frankly, that gave a lot of idea to people to think inclusively. So our idea is to touch people's heart for creating space for people with disability, what they can do.
But your idea seems to have touched a lot of hearts, because more than 4,000 artists from across the world have joined you in this contest, right?
Yes, from 53 countries. And in fact, from India, 34 states and union territories, artists, and actually West Bengal stood the first. So we are very proud of this initiative where we thought that mass movement for social transformation, for inclusion of people with disability is needed. This is the tool, powerful tool, to bring out the creativity, and good picture will speak 1,000 words. That's what we are experiencing with nice painting.
Yes, indeed. And this is going to be an online event, which is going to be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube channel as well. So what are going to be the highlights of the grand finale of this contest?
Well, very good. So as you know, 4,200 participants registered, 2,200 could really come up with a nice creative artwork. Then our judges did the 8 judges did the evaluation. We came up with 300 finalists. So everything, a lot of volume. And then finally, we have now 50 winners of 10 categories. And certainly that's a big number, 50 artists from 24 countries. So this grand finale is going to recognize these winners. This grand finale would obviously have very inspiring messages. For example, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji also has recognized this event. Its very strategic impact to make people understand disability through the art. So we are going to launch VoSAP Art Gallery on December 5th to take it to every village, every state, every world, every corner of the world, because it's virtual. And we saw during competition itself, we could reach more than 2 million people. So with more exposure and ability to reach through social media, we believe that people will understand much more about aspirations, issues, capabilities of people with disability, visual impairment or learning disability or hearing disability. Mamtaji, you will see beautiful paintings in this art gallery, which we are going to launch on December 5th. Certainly, we have 2 more attractions also. One is that, can you imagine world's first licensed pilot who doesn't have arms? She is flying the plane with her legs. She is going to be a motivational speaker. Her name is Jessica Cox. And Sparsh Shah, who has been internet sensation, our youth brand ambassador, is going to host the whole program. So I think it would be very interesting for everybody to watch this program, get inspired, see the beautiful artwork. It's a complete package.
Right, and to know more about these paintings, because I'm sure this virtual art gallery is going to be first of its kind, but do we also have specially abled artists and also the able artists who are connecting themselves with the theme of disability? And is the work of both these category of artists being showcased in this virtual art gallery?
Yes, absolutely. So 3 things. One is that Voice of SAP believes in a inclusive mass movement. So here also, out of 4,200, 560 artists are specially able artists, but rest of are without any disability. So we believe that if people with no disability background are inspired, they have a long impact, and they will do a lot more, because people with disability obviously will speak for their rights, but when the society starts accepting and speaking for them, is very big thing. So that is one. So we have categories for specially able artists, child artists, adult artists, professional artists, likewise people without disability. And in that ceremony, almost 30 below age of 30, 74% artists are below age of 30. So I believe
Wow.
youth is very promising world around. And
Yeah.
that's where I think we are very hopeful that inclusion of 1 billion people with disability. See, we are a organization with special consultative status with the United Nations, ECOSOC. And that is our responsibility to promote United Nations Sustainable Goals as one of the only 60 organizations in the world who are working in disability have this status. So we are
Right.
very proud of this very innovative initiative. First time in the world on the topic of disability, that too with so many countries and thousands of people participating.
And I like this concept of connecting youth, because youth can be a catalyst of change when it comes to any topic of any area of change. But your WhatsApp organization is actually working to connect youth in various ways and very constructive ways as well, because I know that 28 students from 12 US universities and the globally recognized universities of United States are working on 14 research papers. For 10 weeks, they worked on these papers, and all of them were working on the topic or the area of disability. Now, this important initiative of WhatsApp, how did you plan this, and what were the topics which were decided for the research?
Well, we believe that data-driven advocacy has a lot more meaning. Disability is one of the area where you will not see enough data, enough research. People have a lot of opinions, perceptions, and that harms the population that is really capable of doing a lot of things. So we decided to inspire the youth during COVID-19. Lot of very smart, talented students in America from Cornell, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, they all were available to do something very constructive. So we tapped into that motivation. Our volunteers did fantastic job. We formed a WhatsApp collegiate team. It is run by USC students, Northwestern students, and they inspired all the students and almost 45 students applied, and we ended up selecting 28 students. So we had variety of topics because we believe that research not only needs to be done on accessibility, but also on the legal rights in the US or in the world, how the world has evolved, particularly also the healthcare type of things, and assistive technology, and what is the inclusion in the advertisement, how the corporate world has come along. So we introduce a very innovative concept called Disability Inclusion Index, DII. So what does it mean? Companies, employees can rate their employers as how much inclusive they are for people with disability. What is their product line? What is the digital accessibility? What is their physical accessibility? What is their CSR program? Employment, hiring, all the policies. So that's where we are very hopeful that with this type of efforts that we are bringing out a lot of innovative ideas to the disability sector, and each idea like Art from Heart, DII, is very scalable. And think about the tool that we have now to rate, even you can rate your past employers. So idea is that everybody should be more serious and get more aware about the benefits of hiring people with disability, and those research has millions of records our students have processed in very latest technology tool like Tableau and all that. So we have very interactive dashboards. So all these things now transpired. Even we are now working with UC Berkeley, very prestigious university, as you
Yes,
know,
indeed.
and data sciences department. So there also we received 22 students, and we are doing amazing. I think it's very important research that even last year we had 100,000 children born with disability because of rubella virus. Now rubella virus is out in the world for last 50 years. Unfortunately, not the world has not come together like polio vaccine, and that's why still people are born with rubella, with disability because of rubella virus. So our research on hundreds of thousands of data records from WHO, UNICEF, all that will yield a lot of useful, actionable information. And that's what we are proud of, that we have engaged youth very uniquely, which I believe these students are future CEOs because they're very talented, and they will make
Right.
huge difference in the corporate world.
So before we continue with our interview, Mr. Desai, let's take a pause here and listen to some of these research interns and the research coordinators as to what do they have to say about their experience when they connected with this research program.
Hello. Hi, my name is Manashri Desai.
And I'm Anusha Singh.
And together, we started the VoSAP research internship in the disability sector for the summer of 2020. In their projects, interns address the most pressing and complex challenges of our time in the disability sector. These solutions and analyses are innovative in their conception and quite elegant in their presentation.
The VoSAP research internship is the first step in mobilizing increased youth involvement in the mass movement for disability justice. Through the disproportionate impact that interns have had through their dedication to this program over the last 10 weeks, both Manashri and I have realized the immense power in youth-led advocacy for disability inclusion.
Well, Mr. Desai, that was a pleasure listening to these young researchers who actually took so much interest in this topic. But do you also think that, as you were explaining, that this is an opportunity to collect data which can be used constructively to plan something for these disabled people, not only in US, but even across the world? And now, since we know that you've been working very actively for people, especially abled people of India also, do you think this kind of research work can also be planned for Indian universities with Indian students, because this data can actually help in policy making?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are already talking to JNU University's dean, also Gujarat Technology University, and other places that we have entered into memorandum of understanding. So we definitely want to take the same concept to larger, selected universities in India, because research can be done in technology also, assistive technology also, on the market of aspect also. What are the opportunities for the corporate world, the study data on the productivity, etc. in India. So Indian students definitely, like journalists can do, what's the response of the content on the disability. Likewise, there are so many topics that one can think, because more data will yield more insights rather than perception. The
Right.
whole idea of data is basically to drive actionable advocacy, which are much more scientific rather than perceptions.
Right. And as we know, COVID times, because this is one way of using this time during the COVID-19 when students actually participated in this program. But COVID-19, otherwise, this year 2020 has been very difficult for everybody, especially more for the specially abled people. You've been working in different areas for them. What special steps did you take to ease their difficulties in the year 2020?
Well, I'll tell you a very interesting example. In the month of March, during our monthly meeting, so we have 19 chapters in the world, and we have regular calls with different chapters. So during that call, Ahmedabad volunteers came up with a brilliant idea that, hey, how can we make sure that we can help people with disability? And that idea next day in America, with California, Los Angeles, Bay Area chapters, other chapters I discussed, that can we do. So as a leader, I have to give some ideas, and then if it is like supported by volunteers, immediately, Mamtaji, we could, within month or so, we could raise money so that we could help 3,500 people, only specially able people. So we are probably one of the only NGO from America, 100% dedicated on specially able people in India during COVID-19, to send the money for the grocery, which is like around 1 to 2 months, depending on some places 3 months. Like we did it in Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, and also with the PPE kit, because people with disability, they need much more protection. Their
Indeed.
immunity is low, and they really need help. And it was very, very, and even right now also, situation is not that good, because their economic impact, and many of them were living without any savings, obviously. So situation is bad. So we continue to appeal our donors that please donate, so that we can continue to help specially able people in India. And the biggest satisfaction when you see them receiving your grocery or PPE kit, the smile on their face, it's really, really invaluable. So I
We
think
can
our
understand.
volunteers are extremely happy. In fact, 18 companies, very large companies, you can name any company that Microsoft or whatever, big companies, employees, our volunteers working there, their companies also match the donation. So we are
Okay.
very happy that we have mobilized our Indian community, particularly in America,
Hmm.
for helping out the Divyangjan as a key stakeholder of Government of India's vision, Honorable Prime Minister's vision, as how we can empower them, how we can ensure their rights are protected, how we can help them. So we believe that with our VoSAP mobile app, or Art from Heart, or very grassroots effort, like we are helping, we have a program to give eyesight to the people, and it's very like appealing also, like just $100 can give eyesight to 3 people through the surgical intervention. We give assistive
That's
device to make them
right.
function. All
So
of
that's
that is
actually great thought in action. I should say that
yes,
VoSAP, that is Voice of Specially Able People, is trying to do on the ground. And when we talk of VoSAP, then VoSAP mobile application also, I must talk about that as well, because that is one mobile application where you're talking of assistive devices, you've in fact listed more than 16,000 accessible places. And the number of volunteers that are connecting themselves with this VoSAP mobile application is indeed heartening to see.
yes, and 16,000 seems to be a big number, frankly, but it is primarily in Gujarat or in Ahmedabad. We really want million places to be rated for accessibility. So just to clarify that, we have this mobile app where you can find accessible places in our mobile app based on the crowdsource model. If you have taken photograph of a building, I have taken, it's visible to everybody. And then the second part of is that if some buildings are not accessible, from the mobile app, you can request the building owner, maybe authorities, maybe social media, and crowdsource activism or crowdsource demand generation for creating accessible community. So it's a multi-purpose mobile app. It's again very innovative, and we believe that if we have 1 million places mapped out in India, it would be a great help service to the disabled or specially able community. And I tell you good news that at least Collector of Ahmedabad and his team is really working aggressively to make our app used for showing that data for accessibility related information and fixing it. So it is becoming like a public utility app. So I think the key here is that we have a e-governance tool, public utility app for every district, every city, every commissioner to really utilize this mobile app for as part of good governance to provide accessibility information.
Right. And it's like using the digital power for the larger welfare of specially able people. And I think more people should know about it so that they can also contribute to it, you know, putting more pictures about accessible places so that people get to know about these places, in fact. But you are a person, Mr. Desai, who's been working for empowerment of specially able people using technology, and which is so much evident. You yourself suffered from polio at the age of 4, but you are doing much more for these specially able people than many more able people could do. What is it like? How do you feel about it, you know, bringing about a positive change in the life of so many people?
Well, it's an experience I would encourage everybody to have in their life. If you commit to do something good for others, like, we believe in our culture that serving others is like serving God. You really get very positive energy. So particularly my situation, even though I am a polio survivor since age of 4, I believe that that's my call to action, purpose of my life, that if I can use my skills in technology, because my full-time job is as a vice president in a large IT services company, is selling IT solutions. I'm head of North America for my business unit. So that's where the difference comes. Like, we are bringing this technology expertise and the collective wisdom of all the volunteers. Let me tell you, this research internship, my idea was there for maybe a couple years, but the volunteers who executed it so well, because that's where the model is very scalable and idea, and likewise art from heart. Idea is like coming from somewhere, then we executed with very collective efforts. Okay, that this is where we can focus. My idea was, let's connect with the hearts, but then somebody says dance, somebody says art, and we then picked up, oh, art looks like perfect. So it's our satisfaction is because it's a collective wisdom. You will hardly find any NGO, frankly, where so many smart CEO, vice president, and very, very committed, compassionate leaders are giving their so much of time and money both. Most of our volunteers are donors also. So that's what I think gives us satisfaction and ability to move the needle, because a lot of NGOs are doing very good work on the ground, and we are
Yes.
also doing grassroots work. But strategic needle moving initiatives. Think
Right.
about art from heart. Every community, every college, every corporation, as part of their diversity inclusion experiment, cultural change, they should do this. So we have set the trend. We have a technology platform for anybody to use it, but idea is that we have to think in a global vision, and that is possible only because of technology and the collective wisdom and a lot of efforts on the ground by our volunteers. All of these 8 judges are volunteers.
Right.
And
So as an NGO, you're doing a lot of work and a lot of change you're trying to bring on the ground. But you're also advisor to Department of Persons with Disabilities with Ministry of Social Justice, and you're also advisor to Accessible India campaign. Now, this is my last question, and I would love to have this answer from you, because everybody is looking at the government that they would also do something, but there are very strong policies which have been framed by the government. What change do you see in India on the ground in terms of people coming together and make these policies successful?
well, there's a lot of awareness, I would say. A lot of awareness. If you, look at Amitabh Bachchan's show on Kaun Banega Crorepati. every other week there will be some disability champion. Recently, Dr. Jitendra Agarwal was there, who is a visually impaired, our partner Sarthak. I think there's a lot of awareness, acceptance, ability to see the ability part. So you are disabled if you can't see the ability of this specially able person, in our opinion. So that part has been addressed very well, right from Honorable Prime Minister to the leaders and other people. Yes, policy changes are there, which are obviously in many cases visible, like Accessible India campaign. A lot of work needs to be done as well, and people have to really become more serious.
I would like to end on this note where you say that, it's not disability, it's a special ability which one has to focus on. And I would like to leave our viewers with that video which has been made by VoSAP focusing on this special ability of these people. And thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Desai. And we do convey our best wishes for all the efforts that you are making to realize the potential of these specially able people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I invite everybody to join this December 5th event. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.